This is DJ Dub of the Fantasy Couriers, and we are proud to partner with Underdog as the official sponsor of the Fantasy Couriers podcast. If you haven't done Underdog yet, what's holding you back? Take a chance, jump on. This is draft season, and Underdogs has many best ball drafts that you can join in on. So during the offseason, go to Underdog, join a best ball draft. Keep an eye out. There might even be some Fantasy Couriers best ball drafts coming up. And during the season, great pick'em contests that are live now for in-season play. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app. Use the promo code Couriers, and you will get your deposit matched up to $100. Let me say that again. Deposit matched up to $100. So what's holding you back? Jump onto Underdog, have a blast, enjoy, and let's get ready for the show.
Happening, fellow fantasy GMs. I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub, and with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Well, JJ Wang, I tell you what, on our Facebook page, I just posted as like a big collage our quarterback, running back rankings, and we got some good reactions. People are digging them. A couple guys posted their own. They're liking where we're going.
I guess some people like these rankings, man. I don't understand it. I mean, like I said, I do it with more of a biased opinion towards football. I think you do it more of a professional, like a little more like, like professional type. But like, I can't get rid of my bias in rankings. That's why I don't like it. But if people dig it, I guess I can continue doing it. I don't understand.
There's stuff there within my bias too. You know, I try my darndest to not over dolphin it, but you know, it is what it is. And I think everybody has their sort of bias, and you have less bias than I do. Your bias is guys you like, because you know you sort of stepped away from your Cowboys, and you still love you some CDs. See, there's deep seated Cowboy love within you still.
Oh no, yeah, I love CDs. We'll talk about it later, but I love it.
But I think it goes on now. But I did have a guy tell me, he goes, I was talking the other day at church, he's like, you know, when's your rankings coming out? I said, they're up. He goes, I won my league last year using your rankings. I'm like, yeah, dude. Good job, Keith. Shout out to Keith.
Yeah, as long as you help one person in this world, I mean, that's really all that matters. I mean, just helping one person at a time. That's all you can do.
So, yeah, before we jump in, we're going to finish the ranking shows this week. Check out Fantasy Pros. They re-upped me for another year. I thought I was going to fade away. They said it was a 1 year, and I emailed them like, hey, can I come back? And they're like, yeah, dude. I told them about some of the cool things, and they're like, yeah. I said, I'm starting to figure it out. So,
yeah, I mean, you just got the personality people like, man. You can, it's a good job for you, man. Because with me, they'd be like, no, dude, we don't want you back. I'd be like, okay, cool.
They looked at my 175th place ranking one week and be like, maybe not. So I had to trick them by saying I got that 3 and 17. So,
but it's not so much about the ranking; it's the joy you have doing the rankings. I think as long as you show joy in the rankings, I mean, they'll continue having you back, I believe.
Yeah, some guys drop off. It's crazy. So, yeah. So, everybody, thanks for your support of the podcast. If you're on Facebook or Instagram or any of those things and you see something pop up, just push that share button. If you're listening to us on an Apple podcast, a review would be spectacular. Then people can go, whoa, who are those handsome guys on there? And they'll be like, good, they have faces for radio. That's why we're listening to them on podcasts. If you're on YouTube, we're getting some YouTube hits. Check out our handsome faces. If you want to see the rankings as we're talking, they do pop up. I have a PowerPoint show popping up on YouTube behind us that we will be talking as we go through our rankings, as with last week's show as well. Bold Prediction Show, our annual Bold Prediction Show, is coming up Labor Day weekend. If you're interested in popping in, hit us a message. We have some people that have talked to us already and are asking about it. I got us another special. The guy that, if you get Underdog emails from a guy named Andrew, he is going to give us some bold predictions. I'm up to a handful of special guest bold predictions that will pop in during the show as we're getting through. It's kind of cool connecting with the community as we go into it. So I got one bit of news and notes because it's preseason. Everything's a little tweaked, but my phone blew up this weekend. Everybody's like, are you okay? A-Chain went down. He went off on a cart. I was like, the cart is the fastest way to get a guy off the field. And I read that today, but there's a shoulder injury, nothing. Till you all hear it, there might be something, but can you imagine how sad I am if A-Chain's out for a while?
Well, I mean, that's the problem, right? He's a small dude getting tackled by big dudes. Good luck, man.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be curious to see. Like, I think he's gonna be a good scat back. I still think if you can get Mostert on the late, he's a good cheap. So,
I mean,
but
that running
today,
game is that running game is going to be tricky. Stay away from all of them.
uh, yeah, I think it's gonna depend upon your scoring. If you get lots of PPR, you might get some juice out of it. I mean, Mostert looks pretty strong, so we'll see what happens out of them. So we are today as going to go to all of our wide receiver rankings, and I am going to have them pop up on the screen here as we are going. So this week we're going to talk about wide receiver rankings. If you want to see what we're talking about, they're up on the screen. I also will post them on all of our socials as we go through. We'll see how much I goofed up on because Adobe that I used for my pictures went all wonky doodles on it this week. So we'll go through DJ Dub's rankings, go through JJ Wang's tiers. We'll talk about what we like, what we don't like, who we totally goofed up on. I do have an advantage that JJ Wang doesn't. Like if you see my rankings, you might look at them next week. They might change because I can go and flexibly move them within my Fantasy Pro sites. Mine are also posted on our website and all
My
these.
my my rankings will be the same at the end of the season as they are now. So
And if you want the first copy of JJ Wang's, just look for a piece of paper sitting on his desk.
yeah, yeah.
Right there. There it is. You're such an old man. So here we go. Wide receivers. I had to put my favorite wide receiver. You know how tempting it was to put Tyreek Hill above Chase and Jefferson, but I'm not stupid. But he could easily, couldn't he?
I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I think any of these first couple guys can be the wide receiver one. That's the crazy thing about it. But I think he could. He almost did last year. So
If he hits his goal this year, I mean, he'll do what Cooper Cup did the other year and win leagues for people. The one play I saw where he got he totally, that guy from Houston, he turned him around and Tyreek was like 10 yards off of him when he caught the ball because he just did such a, it's going to be a fun year to watch. But yeah, wide receiver, I think you noticed it as well. When we're talking about it's so deep. We could go on for we could do like 6 screens of wide receivers.
yeah,
And
that's the thing. After I'll even say like maybe your top eight wide receivers, whether it's your top eight or my top eight. I mean, the rest of them are kind of like, oh God, where do I put this guy? Because you can make a case for all of them, and
Mhm.
this is where the bias comes in. I mean, this is with just who. It's not anything technical about it. It's all your favorite guys.
I mean, there's no shocks. Probably my biggest shock for somebody is I do have Calvin Ridley at 13, right there with Olave, Adams, Higgins. Keenan Allen's probably a little high for a lot of people's likings, but Herbert loves Keenan Allen. And until he breaks down, he might be there.
Herbert does love Keenan Allen, and I'm not sure where I had him right. I got him way lower than 16. Um, I have an affection for young guys over older guys, and I will drop an old guy quick, just to get that new hotness. That's just my issue. And Calvin Ridley, I mean, who knows? I mean, he hasn't played football for 2 years, so it's going to be tough. I think Jalen Waddle might be a little high. I think I still got him ranked, top 13, top 12. I think, but I think 8 might be a stretch, especially if Tyreek Hill is going to finish number one.
But if their running backs are as miserable as we say they're going to be, or unpredictable, they're going to pass it. I mean, it'll be interesting because I think last year I had them both like 12 and 13 because I didn't know what to expect. And then they both, I mean, it's that two. If two is standing, they could go up. But the last piece I have here on my front screen, there's nothing magical about it. We got Jefferson, Chase, Hill, Cup, Lamb, AJ Brown, Diggs, Waddles, Devonta Smith, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Ridley, Adams, Higgins, and Allen. If you look closely on there are 3 sets of teammates. So I got 2 questions before I move into my next set of rankings. First question is, and we'll pose this at oftentimes, of the Eagles, Dolphins, or Bengals, which of those? Because I mean, in the top 15, I have 3 of those pairs. Which of those pairs do you feel could end the year as a better duo for fantasy?
I guess at that point, it just depends on who you're a bigger fan of the second guy is, right?
Yeah.
So it, I'm a bigger fan of Devonta Smith. So I'm going to say AJ Brown and Devonta Smith because that's who I like better. So I'm going to go with Eagles.
It's interesting because I got Waddle and Smith right beside each other, and
Yeah.
then Tyreek above AJ Brown. So it's a tough one there. Now the second question I have, and I did it once in my career and it worked out. Would you carry that pair in your starting lineups, or would you avoid it at all costs? So if the draft fell like in some weird way, and the best available player was Devonta Smith, and you had AJ Brown, would you draft Devonta Smith or Zag and let the next guy get him?
I'd probably go a different route. It's just tough to have that. I mean, like I said, it would probably work out. Like I said, you just don't feel comfortable with yourself. I think it's more of like I just don't feel comfortable knowing that the numbers at the end of the year probably say that you probably should have done it.
Yeah, I did it years ago, and actually, I lie. I do have it right now. Years ago, I had a Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald stack, and it was the year they were murderers, bro. They just killed it all. And this year, on my best team, I do have Tyreek and Waddle. I drafted Waddle, and I got Tyreek from my brother-in-law. So I am rocking with them, and it either kicks you in the butt or you just kill it. Just like you said, and I mean, I wouldn't complain about having T. Higgins or Jamar Chase either. Like they all sort of balance out to be about the same, and they're just
Yeah.
studs. They're all studs. So the second one, and I cheated. If you look at my screens later on, I got some bonus guys there on the side. I did put, so we're going 17 through 26, Judy, Metcalf, London, Amari Cooper, Godwin, Ayuk, McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, Hollywood, and Mike Evans. And I did put Deontay Johnson in there. I'm bullish on him this year. I just think guys that catch the ball, eventually he's going to score. I think I say that every week, don't I? He's going to score,
Yeah,
right?
I think he'll score. I think he'll score. Obviously, score more touchdowns than he did last year.
At
But
least
I mean, will he continue getting the 150 targets that he's been getting over the last few years? That's been his bread and butter. He's just a target hog with the younger receiver and then Fryermuth and still Harris. Well, those targets come down a little bit, and then he might score a few touchdowns, but then he loses his targets and catches. So I mean, I think 24 is right where he should be. I mean, that's got no
And what about
issue.
Hollywood Brown? Yeah.
I
Do
mean,
you think
I have no
I don't
idea.
know.
So he's the number one guy coming off injury on a team that doesn't have Kyler Murray, may not have Kyler Murray. Who knows when Kyler Murray is coming back? So the quarterback plays bad. He's hard to rank. I got him pretty low because I just had to throw him on there because I guess he's a bigger name. So you got to put him on there somewhere.
Does Mike Evans' streak continue this year of 1,000 yard
It,
season?
it's going to be tough. I mean, if Baker don't do it, I mean, Kyle Trask comes in. I think maybe Kyle Trask might be a better fit for Mike Evans because he's got a better arm. He can throw it a little deeper, but Kyle Trask isn't obviously the best quarterback in the world.
Who would you rather have redraft only, Godwin or Evans?
I'd probably go Godwin if Baker's going to be playing, just
Short.
because he's more of a target guy. So I'd go with Godwin.
That's it. And to wrap up my top 36, DJ Moore. This last list are people. This is the thing that could be all jacked up. I'm looking at this and I'm just like, ugh. DJ Moore, who I don't like. Watson, Kirk, Tony, Debo Samuel, Bateman, Pittman Jr., Mike Williams, Traylon Burks, and Dotson. Like I see a lot of these guys. These are the guys that I'm fluctuating with because
I'm I'm surprised you got Debo so low. I thought you were a little higher on Debo than that.
used to be.
I'm not. I mean, I'm kind of lower, and I don't know if I'm that low on Debo. I'm not really sure where he's at, but I was kind of surprised with that. Said you just don't know where you're going. There's so many options. McCaffrey taking away a lot of what Debo
That's it right
does,
there.
and I'm expecting big things from my boy Brandon Ayuk. So I mean, it's tough to see Debo fall that low, especially after they just paid him that much money.
And I love Debo. Debo to me is almost like the second coming of Anquan Bolden. That's where I see Debo. But CMC, you said it right there. CMC is why I have him so low. I'm just kind of disgusted by myself for having DJ Moore so high.
Oh,
I
wait do you see my
oh
rankings, buddy?
him, and then I like Rome. I could totally see most people disagree with me, but I'm seeing the Romeo Dobbs and Jordan Love connection. That Dobbs might be a better, more consistent, might be better person than Watson. Watson might have those peaks and valleys throughout the week, and so throughout the year rather. That it'll be interesting to see how he pans out, and really the Michael Pittman. We love Pittman. I'm scared.
Like Pittman, but like I said, I don't know how much they're going to throw. I'm not sure how good Anthony Richardson is at throwing the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
evidently in camp he's looking better than everybody thought, but it's camp. They all should until they get out in the field. I mean, it's hard to rank Pittman any higher than that, kind of actually.
Yeah, and Bateman, I got off waivers in the league. I'm quite excited about that. He could be a wide receiver one, depending upon your Odell thoughts. So that's enough of my rankings. We'll talk about it more as we're in the season anyway. Let's look at JJ Wang's tiers. Take it away,
Right.
JJ Wang.
So I feel like I've already missed somebody. Oh, never mind. Never mind. He's in there. Never mind. Yeah. So pretty much the top three is going to be the same. Only additions to my top guys.
Oh, there he is.
Well, actually, Lamb is everybody's one of the top guys, so I got him in there, and then I got Garrett Wilson. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big year, and I think Garrett Wilson is going to be the recipient of a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards, and I mean, why not? I mean, he was killing it last year. He only gets better, way better quarterback play. I mean, he's the number one guy on that team. So, dang, the sky's the limit if you think Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, you're bullish on Wilson. The good news about that is the good news or challenging news if people were to use your tiers is like Wilson, you could probably get what after Diggs, probably in the Smith Judy range on your charts once we get there in a second. So, and it would look good ranking at the end. You'd be like, yeah, I had him in the top tier as he ended there. But that's the good news about your top tier guy there. Like the top three or four guys, like they'll fall within that range. And Wilson, you can probably even get a little later and be like, hey, I got a tier one dude at that point.
Uh,
I don't
yeah.
know. Like I'm not on the Jets train, so but that could be bias.
Oh yeah, I mean it could totally flounder, but while it's preseason and things are riding high, I want to enjoy it. So my second tier, pretty much the same, as everybody else's, but I'm going to throw in my hot ticket here. And added Jerry Judy to my second tier. If we all think Russell Wilson's getting better, if we all think Sean Payton's that much better, and we think Javonte Williams is going to be that much better, why doesn't Jerry Judy get that much better and then he become that top 10 guy? Second half of the year, he played really well. That was when Russell Wilson started playing a little better. The drops aren't there anymore. And I think if he's going to do it, this is going to be the year it happens.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I know the JJ Wang, Judy Love, and we always would argue last year. I'm coming over to the Judy side, and just as they're saying, Sutton's starting to look good in training camp, so we'll see if he stays healthy or anything. But imagine if Judy and Sutton are both good, or they could be in the discussion. Like with the talent they have, they could be in the discussion with those guys we were talking about earlier. If they live, because Sutton would be the big body, Judy's a leaner, quick. They both are great talents. Like, and then Russ, that team could be a surprise team. Who knows? Maybe I'll pick them on the Super Bowl again as they flounder.
I mean, who knows? I'm not a big fan of Sutton, a huge fan of Judy. In tier three, like they're all normal. I added two more guys in here. I think DJ. Speaking of height trainings and bias here, always like this guy, DJ Moore, and then of course Brandon Ayuk. I think both of them are going to take the next step. I love Justin Fields. I just want to be able to say DJ Moore and Justin Fields at the same time. I think they're going to help each other out. Definitely think Fields takes the next step, and if he takes the next step, DJ Moore's probably taking the next step too. And then I think Brandon Ayuk's the man. So I mean, that's my two guys that I'm putting here. I think are going to have a solid year, more than solid.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Yeah, I got Ayuk at 22. See, I'm doubling you, but yeah, I mean, I think he's the wide receiver one in San Francisco. So if I think Debo's gonna be behind him, it's not terrible. Like DJ Moore, I mean, but if Justin Fields is gonna throw for 2,000 yards, somebody has to catch half of them, right?
Yeah, right. I
Or
mean,
catch his yards.
but I think he's going to throw a little more than 2,000. I think he's going to add a few more touchdowns. Oh man, it's going to be fun to watch.
I mean, he's just got to hope Komet doesn't steal the touchdowns, and Mooney supposedly is taking a smidge of a step up. So we'll see how what comes out of that as they go on. Okay, you ready for the next set? Let's go. Tiers 4 through, it should say 4 through 7. Come on, DJ Dove.
Yeah, so tier four. I mean, these are the you got T Higgins here. We both like London. Not sure where that team's going to go. Terry McLaurin, who knows? I'm a bigger fan of Jahan Dotson, but I mean, it's still Terry McLaurin. Yeah, DK Metcalf, he's never really taken that next step. And then Amari Cooper, who's just always there. And which one of those guys is your favorite?
Oh, I do love me some London. I was going to talk about him, London and Higgins, but last year London was my rookie target last year. when I was doing in rookie drafts. Because he was trained by Amon Ra. So with my Amon Ra St. Brown love, I gotta love Drake London. But I think there's gonna be a step up. I mean, somebody's got to catch the ball on that team. And he was getting targets. So if you're getting targets and you are in that team, it's got somebody's got to. So why not? Why not have it be as he's
Absolutely. I mean, if
too.
Ritter gets any better, I mean, Bijan's going to help. London's big. He was getting a lot of targets. I can definitely see that happening. A big fan. I got no problems with that. Jumping over here to tier five, I think the biggest addition to my tier five is Jahan Dotson. I just love this guy when he was playing. Well, actually, I just love the Commanders, evidently. I like everybody on that team. So, but I mean, when he played last year, him and McLaurin, they were both good, but he was getting a lot of touchdowns. I think the quarterback play is going to be a little better, more passing yards to go around. I think Dotson's going to be. I don't know if he really, how good his ceiling could be at this point, but I think we notice a lot with Dotson this upcoming season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because they're pretty much playing with a rookie quarterback. Sam Howell is officially the starter. And Dotson, I'm sitting there. I got too many things open on my screen. I was going to pull up. I believe, am I right? Didn't he start out strong and then just sort of peter out towards the end?
Well, he started
But
off
that's every
strong.
rookie though.
He had a lot of touchdowns, and then he got injured, missed some time in the middle of the season, and then came back. When he came back, he was still playing really well, still scoring touchdowns, and that's with shoddy quarterback play and him being a rookie on the Commanders with all the drama. And I think it only gets better from here.
Yeah, I am all for Jahan. I think that
Well, all right.
yeah, I like some Jahan Dotson. I can't get
All
him
right.
show up. I'm trying to look him up here and just look at
So
him.
so we'll jump over to tier six. I took this tier and then I took four older guys and then the four younger guys that are going to replace them. So I got Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, and Mike Williams. All the older guys being replaced by George Pickens, Michael Pittman, Christian Watson, and Jordan Addison. Is that kind of like where maybe these younger guys are taking over for those guys? Does that kind of make sense?
I get what you're going there. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I have Watson high, but I'm still not 100% believer. But we'll see where they pan out. Yeah, Lockett. I don't even think he wasn't even in my rankings. So I think that JSN might take over sooner rather than later for Lockett, just from shorts and t-shirt stuff we're hearing out of him. I like the guys here. Pickens. I don't hear anything bad about him. We're Pickens lovers. But I'm scared. I told you. I've said. I think I said a few weeks ago. I'm scared. Is Pickens going to be OBJ? Live off of a catch. I hope not. But I mean, Pickett steps up. There's two receivers, and maybe he'll learn something from Robinson and Addison. Obviously, like he's coming into what a situation. Lucky duck.
Yeah, lucky him. I mean, Kirk Cousins somehow he's always a top quarterback throwing the ball. So I mean, there's plenty of yards to go around. Thielen feasted for years. Jefferson always feasts. So I mean, if he's as good as advertised, I mean, why doesn't he just fill in right there where Adam Thielen fell off of and just take over? I mean, I can't see anything different happening. And then tier seven, I just threw in these three guys: Hopkins, Brown, and then Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk, I think, could be a little higher here. I did, like you mentioned in JSN earlier. I just couldn't put three quarterbacks in led by Geno Smith. That's really hard to do. So, but I'd love for JSN to take over for Lockett or even Metcalf, and then one of these other guys fall off. It really wouldn't matter to me.
Doesn't it feel gross putting DeAndre Hopkins that late? Like he's on my honorable mentions back on my rankings there because I think he was number 37, and I was like, man, that dude's so good. I'm looking at two guys here. I was looking back at tier six, like that's Mike Williams there, right? He's your Williams is in tier
Yeah,
six.
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, Mike Williams. If Mike Williams plays 15 games. We know he's not going to play 17. We want him to play 9, but if he plays 15, 16, 17, if say he plays the whole season, he could be rocking right there in tier 4, if not tier 3 with the talent of that offense.
Oh, absolutely. And I think even Keenan Allen, his teammate, could finish a little higher as well. I'm not calling it out, but I mean, I just not comfortable, with the like I said, I got a big age bias. I mean, he's pretty old dude. He's been doing it for a long time. They got younger guys hopefully coming up. It's tough to rank these guys, man. It's hard.
You just don't like Tannehill. That's why Hopkins is so
No, I
elite.
don't like Tannehill at all, 100%.
So yeah, there are the Fantasy Couriers wide receiver rankings and tiers. You can check them out. They'll be popped up on the site throughout the weeks. Feel free to tell us what you think, how you like them. JJ Wang, I tell you what, it is interesting in drafting receivers. Like you feel like you got a good receiver, then you look at him a day later and you're like, ugh. Then you're like, ooh, I like it. There, it's going to be it's a passing league, so that's the challenge.
There's just so many of them. You want to drop this guy for that guy. I mean, this guy's looking good, this guy's not, so you want to drop him and then add him. There's just so many. It's kind of fun because you can just play with them as much as you want because there's just so many guys.
Receiver roulette. So JJ
Yeah,
Wang, give us some wisdom as they get excited for the tight end show on Wednesday.
words of wisdom. Get out of a tight end league. No, honestly, I'm usually not a fan of preseason, but I'm not going to lie. The last few days, I've enjoyed the preseason hype, and all I gotta say is enjoy the hype on these guys while you can, because it's not going to last for a lot of them. So this might be the short time you can enjoy where you be able to happy to have these guys on your teams or just mention them anywhere. So as always, trust yourself and trust the process.